Hello and welcome to the assembly video of the card. Now the card is the base of all the dinosaurs. Most of the dinosaurs have the same card. Some of them has a different card, but right now we're going to learn about the basic card that works with the Triceratops and Stegosaurus. So as you can see, we have all the parts here. This video is for your instruction. Then we'll see how we work with it in class. Please follow the lesson plans to learn what's the next step with the card and with the dinosaur itself. So let's start with the card. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna pop all the parts out. Now this is a very important part that we tell the kids to take a filer, a nail filer, and just file down all the extra splinters we have on the part. So if we break everything out, as you can see here, we're gonna break all the parts, and again follow the lesson plans. They tell you step by step what to do. So once we pop all the parts out, you tell the kids take all the leftovers, throw them to the trash. Okay, so now we have all the parts. You can probably see already with your card that we have the splinters coming from from the sides, the connection side. So what we need to do is take a filer, file it down, make sure it's smooth. Please check the kids do file it down correctly before you continue to the next step. The kids are allowed to use only the green wood glue. They're not allowed to use any other kind of glue. And for this video, only to save us some time, I'm going to use the super glue. This is for your use only, so only instructors are allowed to use the super glue. So let's get on with it. So first part, what we're going to do is we're going to take the base, and we have the painting on the base, and we're going to put it facing the table. So that means right now you ask the kids to put all their bases on the table when the painting is facing down. So once you have it like this, you can go around the kids and just make sure they did it correctly. The next step, we're going to take parts number 2. It's this one and this one. We have 2 parts number 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell the kids, we're going to show them how to glue. Usually this is the first time they ever build a robot, because this is for the first dinosaur. So we're going to tell them to look between the holes. We're going to just apply a stripe of glue like this. Again, I'm using super glue to save us time, but we apply glue from one hole to another like this. So 2 stripes of glue, and only then we push parts number 2 in. Now if they didn't file part number 2 correctly, then parts number 2 are going to be a little bit outside, so make sure you push them all the way in like this. And again, I'm going to use super glue just for this video so we can save us some time. So once you're done with part number 2, make sure you go between the kids, check their models to see that they all did it correctly, and that it is connected all the way in. If the parts of the card are not connected correctly, then later on it will be a problem to fix it, because we're gluing everything right now, and when we finish the dinosaur, it's going to be a problem to see that the card is not glued well. So make sure you glue the card well. Then we go to parts number 3. We just put glue on the sides of part number 2 right here, and there's only one way for part number 3 to connect. Push it in, make sure it goes all the way in, and if you need to, just take a little bit of glue and just make sure all the corners are glued well. So we're gonna take this, and now I'm gonna glue. This is 1 and this is 2. Same thing we're gonna do with the other side right here. We're gonna push it in from one side to the other and just apply glue both sides. Now again, every step you finish with the kids, make sure you check and they're all on the same page. And now we're done with part number 2 and part number 3, the walls and the barricades. Now flip it over when the painting is on top. Now we're going to take part number 1, same idea as part number 2. Put a stripe of glue, apply a stripe of glue from one side to the other, and just push parts number 1 in here and in to the other side like this, and then apply a stripe of glue just like you're seeing here. That's it. So that's number parts number 1, so they go on top on the side of the painting, and then the final part would be the triangle. Now if you're not sure what to do with the triangle, make sure to go to the lesson plans, because some models we don't use the triangle in the back and some we do. So we're just gonna push it in, and of course the kids put glue before. We're just gonna apply some glue right now to finish this quickly. So right now, as you can see, we're done with the card, and we can continue to the next step. Watch the lesson plans for the next step. The next step should be putting the motor on the card. So that's what we're gonna do now, and for that we need a motor. Now most motors comes with the rubber band on it. Make sure you take off the rubber band, leave it on your table. Don't let kids take off the rubber band on their own, because sometimes it gets stuck in the middle of the, it gets tangled with the wires, and then they can rip the wires of the motor. We don't want that to happen, so what we're gonna do is you take off the rubber band and just keep it, because you're gonna use it, we're gonna use it in a few minutes. Just put it aside, and I'm going to show you the next step. So the next step is actually, usually what you need to do is give the kids safety instructions about how to use the motor, and be careful not to rip any wires. So we have, it's really easy to know how to place the motor on the card. First of all, we have a rule that says red wire always on top. So if you look carefully on the motor, you have a red wire and a black wire. So the red wire should be on top, just like this. So I'm going to put it like this so you can see it. So red wire should be on top. Now, second hint we have on how to place the motor in place is the painting. So you can see the painting comes from the left. So we can see the wires should be on the left side of the card and not on the right side. So once you explain that to the kids, ask them, if I flip it like this, would that work? If I do it like this, is that gonna work? No. So, and then you show them how to put it correctly. So they put the motor between parts number 1, like this. Once they did it, tell them, leave it on the table, go between the kids, and just make sure they did it right. If they did do it right, what we're gonna do is you're gonna hand them over a 30 screw. This is a 30 screw, and all they need to do is just align the holes between parts number 1 and the motor, and just push the 30 screw from one side to the other, just like this. Okay, so it's not supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be quite easy for the kids. So all they need to do is actually push the 30 screw from one side to the other. Now again, make sure you check the models, make sure you check the cards before you continue to the next step. The next step, you'll actually give them a lock nut, just a regular lock nut, and all they need to do is just twist it on the other side, and that's it. If you have time in class, it would be better to hand over a screwdriver and just tighten up the 30 screws so it holds the motor in place and doesn't move. So once you're done with that, we actually don't need the screwdriver anymore. If you did give them a screwdriver, you can pick it up, you can take it back. The next step will be to put the switch in its place. So what we're gonna do is actually align the red wires like this and just put them through the switch's place and just push the switch, like pop it in like this, and that's it. Really easy. But again, you have to make sure you explain to the kids to do it carefully, because we don't want any wires ripped. So push the switch into its place, and then for the final step, and I know this is also probably the final step on the lesson plan, even though we're not going to be done with the card, is gluing the battery box. So what you're going to explain to the kids is that they need to take the wood glue and just apply 2 stripes of glue on the battery box itself, and just place it under the yellow motor and hold it like this. Now remember, before I told you to put the rubber band aside. If they did everything correctly, if they placed the battery box correctly, if they put enough glue, you can take the rubber band and just wrap it around the motor and the battery box together, and Actually, you don't need to take the rubber band off ever. You can actually put the batteries on the rubber band, and it's still gonna work. So I know here it's one step you need to finish in your lesson plans, but because we're doing this video, I'm going to continue for the next step as well. So once you're done with this, make sure the switch is in place. Look again for the wires to make sure the motor set correctly, and the battery box as well. So for the next step is actually one very short step, and you're gonna, again, you'll see it in the lesson plans. You have the black crankshafts. These are two plastic parts that help the motor move the legs of the dinosaur. Now, we have only one rule regarding the crankshaft, that they're never facing the same way. So if I have this crankshaft is facing up, the other one should be facing down. Now, the kids automatically start playing with the crankshafts. Tell them to stop and not to do that, because that can actually burn the motor. So what we're gonna do is just place it. Make sure you go between the kids, check it. So we have one is facing up and one is facing down. And then all we need to do to finish this phase is actually give them two driller screws, not bug screw, these are the bigger ones, and just screw the crankshaft into the motor. So that means this screw will go into the hole that goes on the white hinge of the motor. So this is going to be one, and I'm going to tighten it up like this, and the other side as well. So this is going to be number 2, and we're going to screw this into. And again, once the kids are done, go just check their models. It's going to save you a lot of time fixing models later. And that's it. This is the card with the motor and the crankshafts on.